Our very good friends and seekers of our true home, I welcome you to this two-day event in New Delhi, which is primarily meant to meet new seekers and give them a couple of minutes each to ask any important question that they have. Since time is very limited, I request you to confine yourself to the most important question that you would like to get answered from me. My purpose of coming here is to share with you the teachings of my master, Hazur Maharaj Baba Sawant Singh, called the greatest master. The great master, I call him the greatest master. He transformed the lives of thousands of people and made them completely different from what they were when they met him. He gave them the easiest possible way in this iron age, Kali Yuga, to reach back to their true home. He taught that there are two stages to reach our true home, and both stages are available to a human being. The first stage is called the mental stage and deals with the creation which is controlled by the mind. The second stage is the spiritual stage which is controlled by the spirit or the soul of a human being. There is a big difference between the mind and the soul. The mind thinks. The mind makes sense of things. The mind makes understanding of sense perceptions and always functions in time and space. If there was no time or space, the mind dies. It does not exist. Mind creates time and space for itself, and when time and space is withdrawn, the mind dies. The soul is immortal, is never born, never dies, and does not operate in time and space. Both these functions are available to human beings all the time. When we think, we are using the mind. When we talk, we are using the mind. When we write, we are using the mind. But when we get a gut feeling, sudden intuition, sudden feeling without thinking, that is the soul. When we experience love for somebody, it is the soul. When we appreciate beauty and bliss and happiness, it is the soul. The soul functions very differently than the mind. These things, love, experience of love, can come without any time or duration. For mind to think even the smallest thought takes time. But the feeling of love does not take time, it is instantaneous. Similarly, the experience of appreciation of beauty is instantaneous. Our intuitions, love and beauty and bliss are all instantaneous, and therefore they are functions of the soul. But the thinking, reasoning, understanding is all function of the mind. The mind has very big limitation. Because it functions in time, it depends on memory for everything. It cannot remember everything. Therefore, it tries to remember as much as it can and takes decisions accordingly. Next time, it says, oh, I made a wrong choice because I did not realize something else, which it had forgotten. Mind makes mistakes all the time. Soul never makes a mistake. Mind follows the law of cause and effect, which is called the law of karma. Karma means that for everything that happens here, there is a cause, and every cause leads to an effect. Therefore, the law of karma pervades these three regions of the mind. What are the three regions? The first is our physical region, where we are sitting now and having this meeting. We are sitting in a wakeful state, awake in the physical realm. Below this, there is one region called the dream state. When we go to sleep, we forget this physical body, we forget this physical world, and we go into a dream state. The laws of dream state are very different from the laws of the physical state. When we are dreaming at night, we can go from one place to another in one instant, and it looks like normal. Suddenly we are having a dream that we are in one place in Delhi, next minute we are in Mumbai, third minute we are in Calcutta, and we never question in a dream how come we came so fast to these places, because the law of dream is different. If that happened when we are awake, we would be really surprised, but there is no surprise in dream. Similarly, here we experience time as going according to our clocks and our watches. We don't realize that time actually is experienced very differently, but we believe in the clocks on the wall and the watches on our wrist, and we think if we have had a good company and thought it was only 15 minutes, and the clock says 1 hour, we believe 1 hour and not the 15 minutes. In the higher plane, the astral plane, where we don't have physical body, but we have an astral body, a suksham sharir, a fine body, which is made up of all the sense perceptions, but has no matter, no molecules and atoms in the inner body. We are using the inner body all the time without knowing it. Whenever we imagine something, we are using the inner body. The time that we actually experience, and not the clock time, is time of the astral body. We have an inner time going on all the time. We are using our astral body all the time without knowing it. Somehow, because we think this is the only reality, we think that imaginary things are unreal and physical things are real. We cannot get out of this idea. How can we check that what looks like imaginary things, which we imagine and see, are also real? There is a way of doing it, and these perfect saints and masters, these psychics and mystics who have practiced becoming unaware of the physical body and still remaining aware of the inner body, they tell us there is a very easy way to do it. When we all die in the physical body, this physical body we leave behind. Then what is still left must be the inner body. But is it merely a guesswork, or is there a way to test it while we are still alive? There is a way, and it is called dying while living. To be able to experience what happens in death while we are still living, it is a very big help to understand that when we die, only the physical body dies and not the inner body. How do we die while living? We die by removing our awareness of this body. We actually leave the awareness of our body every night. When we go to sleep, we are not aware of this body. The dream body looks real, which runs around while we are sleeping in the bed. Similarly, if you can keep awake and more awake and still become unconscious, unaware of this physical body, you can know what will happen to you when you physically die. This is achieved by a simple process called meditation. Meditation is to meditate upon something, to think about something, to put your attention on something. Right now, our attention is scattered in the physical world. We are always looking at the physical world as our only reality. If we can put our attention not on the physical world outside, but on our inner self, then we can withdraw our attention from outside and also slowly, gradually withdraw our attention from the physical body also. I don't know how many of you seen people who die slowly with terminal illnesses. They die slowly and they can take several hours to die. I have seen many deaths like this because of my age, and my colleagues have died. I have gone and seen them in the hospitals. I have seen them in the hospices. Death does not come suddenly all at once. Death comes in stages. When a person is dying, first the hands and feet are dead. The person does not know where the hands and feet have gone. Then the legs and the arm disappear. It appears as a process in which life is being withdrawn from the body. After that, the bottom of the torso, of the main part of the body, is not known where it is, and a person thinks he is floating in the air. He's still in the bed, feels like floating. As the attention and the life is withdrawn and goes up, when it crosses the heart, the person cannot speak, but the eyes can still see, and you can see the eyes of that person moving around. When it crosses the neck and goes to the head, the person dies. Ultimate death takes place in the head. When the head dies, this body is dead. This is a process of natural death. It is the process of all dying. Sometimes it happens fast, sometimes slow. Now, can we imitate this process? Yes. Meditation helps us to imitate this very process of dying, but without dying. We still remain completely alive, but we can withdraw our attention. It is a very big gift given to us by the Creator that we have life, which makes us aware of what is going on. We are conscious beings, and in that awareness, we can put our attention wherever we like. I see some beautiful flowers next to me. When I am looking at them, I only see from the corner of my eye. My attention is not on the flowers. I am aware of the flowers. My attention is on you because I am looking at you. If I turn my head and put attention on the flowers, flowers will become very clear to me and you will be vague to me. This is a natural process we have, how to use our attention. We are constantly putting our attention on things outside. Sometimes on a book to read, sometimes to a person to talk, or on other things that we are interested in, we put our attention there. Supposing you were to put your attention on your inner self, what would happen? Where is the inner self? Where are you operating from in this physical body? You can feel that you've got a heart, it can palpitate, you can know, you can feel your hands and feet. Life is spread out in the whole body. But where is it spreading out from? As I said, in the case of natural death, you find the last part that dies is the head. Therefore, our actual being, from where life is spread out, is in the head. Where in the head? Can we localize it further? Yes. If you want to consider, where do you look out at the world from through your eyes? It is from behind the eyes, not from the eyes. We have two eyes. The two eyes are seeing two different things. They cannot see the same picture. They say two things and we combine them behind the eyes, in the center, almost so far back from these physical eyes, like as far as the ears are there. If you draw a line from one ear to the other in your head, you are in the center of that line. That is where we see things. That is where we think. That is where we use our mind and brain. That is where some vital organs like the pineal gland and the pituitary body, which are the controllers of all hormones in the body, they lie there. It's the exact center of our head. The most protected part, covered by grey matter, covered by a skull, best protected part of this body is that point in the center. It has been called the third eye center. Mystics and saints have called it the nukta, the point, the third eye center, the single eye. They all described it as that because that is the seat from where we are operating this physical body, and that is where consciousness is spreading out from. Supposing we are so sure where we are, we put our attention on that. Meditate on where you are sitting in the head. What will happen? The more you will put your attention there, you will begin to get unaware what is happening outside. Slowly you will not know where your hands and feet have gone. If you still keep on thinking of that, doing activities inside that, working inside that, talking inside there, repeating words inside there, doing any action inside there, you will see that you will soon not know where your legs and arms have gone. You won't know where the bottom of your body has gone, and eventually you will not know where the whole body has gone. It's a simple process. It looks difficult. If you understand it properly, it is not difficult. It's only a question of meditating, that means thinking about and acting at the third eye center behind the eyes. You don't have to search for the third eye center. You are there. You are scattered from there. I am making this clear because so many friends of mine who are initiates of masters and have been taught the same meditation I was taught by Hazur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh Ji, they are trying to find out where they are sitting by looking at them. When they try to make a little picture of themselves sitting inside the head, they are not in the picture, they are where they are looking at from. We are already there. Why are we trying to search a picture of ourselves? We just have to feel that we are there in the center of the head. That means we pick ourselves from this body, make it our imaginary body, and sit where we are already operating from, looking at the world from. If you understand this correctly and get guidance on how to withdraw your attention to the third eye center and concentrate your attention there, you will achieve what has been called in all the scriptures as dying while living. You will experience the same thing which you would when you actually die, but you can experience it at any time while you are alive. And that's a wonderful thing, because then you will discover that what is your own form inside also sees. When you close your eyes and imagine something, you see. These eyes are not seeing. When you imagine something happening somewhere else, you can see that picture in your imagination, which eyes are seeing. Not physical eyes, inner eyes are seeing. Similarly, inner hands can move. We have all the five senses working inside. The only difference between a physical body and the inner Suksham Sharir or astral body is that that has all the same sense perception, all the same mind thinking, all the same soul making it alive, except it has no matter in it. There is no physical matter in it. That's the only difference. And you are using it all the time when you are imagining things. So it will come easy that you can place your attention there. It's a very eye-opening thing that you have something inside you that does not depend upon physical matter, but has all the same perceptions. In fact, it has better perception. Supposing old people like myself, when we want to read something, we use our glasses. Our eyes are not 20/20. You will notice that the inner body can read the finest print without difficulty. Have you ever tried this? That have you said that in your mind, I am thinking I have got a newspaper in my hand, and very fine print of newspaper, inner eyes can read very clearly, outer eyes need help. This body does not help us to see better, does not help us to hear better, does not help us touch better or smell better or taste better. It only obstructs it. Therefore, our sense perceptions have been dwarfed to some extent, made smaller by the physical body, not made bigger. The inner body has all very sharp senses. It is made up of sense perceptions, but it still functions with the same mind, same thinking process, and the same soul, same life-giving thing, which is giving life to us here. It's only removing one cover upon ourselves. This physical body is a cover upon the package. The package consists of our inner self, our mind, and our soul. Now, this is a good step forward. And if you can do that, you have made a very big step forward. When we get initiated by a perfect living master, a Satguru, then he initiates us. What does he do? Is initiation a method of teaching us how to meditate? Not at all. Anybody can teach us how to meditate. I'm just telling you how to meditate. It's written in the books. Thousands of books contain full directions how to meditate. So many yogis are sitting outside teaching us how to meditate. It's all a question of putting attention inside. That is not what initiation means at all. When a perfect living master, a Sant Guru as we call him, when he initiates us, he places himself inside us, just behind the third eye center where we are trying to go by meditation. It enables us to see another sky inside, not the physical sky, in an imaginary sky. We fly in that sky. We can go and see the stars and the moon. We can see the whole creation. We can fly very fast inside. And when we fly upward in that sky, we can see the form of our perfect living master there if we are initiated by him. That is initiation. Initiation is a permanent connection a perfect living master makes with us and stays with us forever. He will not leave us. If he is a perfect master, he will not leave us till he takes our soul to Sachkhand, our true home. Of course, Sachkhand is not just opening up the inner eye. This is another world inside. This outer world is called physical. Physical world, this body is called physical body, a sthul sharir. Inner body is fine with no matter in it. There is no matter, but we can see this world from inside. We can see another world from inside. There are two astral worlds, one overlapping this and one beyond that. We can see both of them with the inner body. And when we are touching toward the other one, that is where we see the form of our master. Everything that we see with our imagination can be seen in perfect darkness. You can close your eyes and imagine seeing the sun rising. You can see the light of the sun with your imagination. Where does the light come from? Your eyes are closed. Inside everything exists that exists outside in a better form. Similarly, when you see the form of the master, no matter how dark it may look to you, form of the master appears very bright. That is why it is sometimes called Nuri Sarup, a radiant form of the master. Especially when you fly in the sky, things become very bright and sharp, and in that you can see the sharp, well-focused image. Of course, it looks like master comes and goes, looks like he is coming and then going. He does not come and go, he is there. He is already there even now, after initiation. But our attention is not fully there. So as more attention can be gathered and concentrated, the master remains steady. And that is why once you are able to achieve that, your job is done. Now master's job begins. You can't find your way to Sachkhand. A master will take you there. And remember, with your effort, with your mind, you can attain some of these experiences. You can attain the whole experience of the astral world. You can even go higher if you know how to do the same kind of meditation that you're doing with the physical body. Start doing it with the inner astral body by sitting behind the eyes of the inner body. Same process, and you can open up another awareness by becoming unaware of the physical body and also unaware of the sense perceptions of the astral body. What will you find there? There is no shape of any body there. We don't need shape. Shapes are needed because the way our sense perceptions function. Beyond that, we don't need a shape of the body. We are just light, conscious light, capable of thinking. It's only the mind and soul that function in that state. It is sometimes called the causal body or Karan Sharir. Why is it called causal body? When you go there, you discover everything we are experiencing here was created there. It is the ultimate place for the creation of physical and astral and causal worlds. There is nothing that is created here which you can experience which is not created there. Therefore, many masters, gurus have gone to the stage and called it our true home. They say we have a universal mind from where all minds spring, and therefore that is our true home. Those people do not know the distinction between the soul and the mind. They think it's the same thing. Soul is not mind. Mind thinks, soul does not want to think, does not need to think. Mind can create karma and live in karma and carry karma. Soul has no karma, ever. Soul is life-giving. Soul gives life to the mind. Soul gives life to the astral body. Soul gives life to the physical body. Therefore, the soul is something very different. It's the principle of life, of consciousness itself, that makes you aware to see this physical world or any world. This distinction is not known, but since you cannot go beyond the mind with the mind, and all effort that we make is with the mind, there is no way any meditation, any effort of any kind can ever take us beyond the mind. Nothing can ever take us beyond the causal plane, except something that is already beyond the causal plane and pulls us from there. Now, what is something beyond the causal plane? Now, when you see a perfect living master here, he looks like an ordinary human being, like ourselves. He is born like us. He has karma like us. He falls sick like us. He eats food like us. He dies like us. There is no difference in the physical life of what we call a Sant Sadguru or a perfect living master than ourselves. He is identical to us, physically, with sense perceptions, with the mind and soul, just like us. No difference whatsoever. Then what is the difference? Only difference is what is he aware of? What does he know at all times? We know only one level of consciousness at one time when we are in physical body. Physical world is the only reality for us. That is why we are looking for a master, a physical form. When we are in astral form, astral reality is the only reality for us. Causal form, these disappear, become dreamlike. Causal plane is the only reality for us. But above that, when we go to our true home, we discover that is total. Nothing is outside of it. So when a soul reaches totality in such current in true home, nothing is outside of the true home, including this physical world, astral world, causal world, Parbrahm, where the soul can exist, and the totality. All are taking place at one place with no break. It's a total thing. When we say God is perfect, that is here, nothing is outside of it. Everything is within that, including whole creation and all of us who are created. That experience only comes in our true home. A perfect living master operates from that true home. Therefore, when he is an ordinary physical being here, he is not operating from here. He is operating from every level, right up to true home. He is speaking from the true home, from the astral self, from the causal self, all at once. He sees the nature of these, how they have been created as a reality, and how they are also an illusion at the same time. All of us will do the same if we reach our true home. It's not a unique thing for a perfect living master. We all have the same capacity sitting inside us, all within ourselves. This creation has taken place from a zero time, zero space consciousness spread outside and creating the outside. It is not somewhere else it is being created. Everything is being created outside, and the way back is inside. Inside where? Inside where we think we are sitting right now. Right now we are sitting in the head. Can you imagine all that we talk of, higher planes of existence, they are all sitting inside us. The covers are preventing us from seeing it. These three covers, physical body, our sense perceptions of the astral body, our thinking mind, these are three covers. They are like three bodies which are covering our own self. And we are taking these to be more real than our own self. We can't discover our own self. But once we reach the top of the mind, a master whose physical form here we are seeing is operating from above the mind, even here. It is his love which exists beyond the mind. Love, beauty, joy, which love beyond the mind. That pulls us starting right from here. Perfect living masters do not come to teach us anything. They are not teachers. They are our own true self, arranged by ourselves, that when we are tired of this experiment, this adventure of having new experiences in a physical plane, astral plane, we have made an arrangement that when we are tired, we will become a seeker, and when we will seeker, our own true nature, our true self will appear as a perfect living master, and that will gradually take us back. When we reach there, we'll find there was no difference between ourself and the master. It was our own self that appears as a master. A real master is always our own self, inside. We can't see ourselves, therefore we have arranged that he should appear outside exactly like ourselves. Why should a master appear exactly like ourselves? If he has got so much awareness that he is sitting in Sachkhand while he is talking to us here, why should he not look different? Why should he not appear extraordinary? There is a reason for it. What pulls us to Sachkhand is love of a master, the pure love, an unconditional love, love that comes from beyond the mind, that alone pulls us. When this love is experienced by us, we become devotees and we get devotion. Devotion is not practiced. Devotion is an automatic reaction to the strong love we feel from a perfect living master. People ask me, can you tell us who is a perfect living master? I said, whoever pulls you with his love so strongly that you feel devotion to that person is your master for that time. Why I said for that time? Because we are not all looking for our true home. Most of us are looking for some better life here. Most of us are praying to masters, please help us. Our children are sick, our money has gone, our property has gone, please help us, our court cases are going on. Everything over here. We are asking for things from here. So masters who have psychic powers to help you modify some of your problems, they come up and help you. Then there are some who say, no, we want to leave this world and see where is heaven. All heavens and all hells are in the astral plane. There are masters who will take you there. Then some people want to go beyond. Where is the origin of this universe? Where does it come from? Such masters come, take you to the causal plane. But only those seekers who are tired of all this, who say we have had enough of these experiences, we want to just go to the true home, where we belong. And they feel the love and pull of a master, and that master takes them beyond the mind. In a lifetime, you can come across many masters. Our own scriptures say that every one of us has 4 masters anyway. When we are born, our mother is the first master who teaches us how to grow up and survive in this world. Then we go to school. The school teacher is our next master, gives us enough education to move forward. Then we go to our temple, church, place of religious experience, and based upon what religion we have been brought up in, we grow up to understand more of the nature of this universe, and there is something beyond. And finally, a 4th master called the spiritual master, he takes us where our spiritual goals are. But even in the spiritual masters, our goals keep on changing. And as we get further up, we find we are not satisfied, we want more. Other masters come. So therefore, it is not necessary that there should be only one master in one life. Masters change according to our own progress. And when we finally go to the perfect living master, that is the stage when we are ready to leave this, all this whole cycle of birth and death, whole cycle of karma. When we want to leave that, then only we leave the mind and go beyond. So remember, this is not something to be worried about. Why did I have one master, I left him? I am being unfaithful? Are you married that you will get a divorce or something? Master teaches you something and you learn it. If you want to learn more, you go to a higher place. If a young child tells his parents, My uncle goes to a place called a college and a university. I want to go there. The parents will say, you still have to go to elementary school, or to go to high school, then you will go there. No, I don't like these teachers. I want a PhD professor. My young uncle goes there. It doesn't work like that. The same thing is true in spirituality. When we are having different goals, different aims, different understanding of our own goals, we come across masters who take us up to that level. And when we are not satisfied, the soul wants to go higher, wants to go to its true home, a perfect living master appears in our life. We cannot find one. We can find some other masters from their dress, from the way they organize themselves, from the way they talk to us, from the way they tell them who they are. Perfect living masters don't have to do any of these things. They appear when we have tested out all those things already. Perfect living masters come exactly like us, become friends of ours. Why friends? Because love is best expressed through friendship. We find a certain friendship so quickly with these perfect masters, things we have never shared with anybody, they are quickly willing to share with such a person. Where is it coming from? It's a connection that is from soul to soul, not mind to mind, not body to body, not senses to senses. That is why perfect living masters appear in our life. We cannot recognize them otherwise. They are very ordinary beings. They look so ordinary, there is no sign on them. Friendship is not possible if they are very different. Supposing, I give you an example, a master who is not like us, but in his physical body he can fly. He has learned levitation in the air. And while I am talking to you, suddenly one flies in here and begins to fly in the hall here. We will all look up. We wonder what is happening. Some of us will think, more rational people, there are some strings attached somewhere which we cannot see, and they try to find a rational explanation. Some will say this is a magical thing. Some may even faint to see that. All of us will be surprised. Some of us may even worship it. Some of us may even be in awe. But nobody will make friendship with that person. Nobody will love that person. Supposing he suddenly falls down while he is flying, many of us will run to help him. And first time some love and compassion will come in our heart. Love and friendship is not with somebody super duper about somewhere else. Love and friendship with a friend who is like us, who talks like us, who can understand things like us, who makes us feel we are at the same level. That is why perfect living masters appear at the same level as their disciples are. They very often, if they have a large list of souls they have to take back home, and some are very high, with those high they become high. Some are low, they become low. Some are rich, they become rich. For poor people, they are poor. They can adjust, even as human beings, to the level of their disciples. So disciples can become friends and experience the love of a perfect master. I must tell you in short, spiritual path is a path of love and devotion. Meditation is to keep the mind occupied. To satisfy the mind, we meditate. To go beyond the mind to a true home, love and devotion is the key. I have given this short introduction to you so that you know what I have come to share with you. And any questions you have, we will have these meetings all day long, one-on-one and personal meetings, so you can ask any important question you have. Remember, the number of people is large who wants to meet. For the sake of the others waiting, confine your question and answer to about a couple of minutes, 2 minutes each. I'll be very grateful. Thank you very much.